It's the grandson of Right Thought. Welcome to the School of Marvelous Light. Today, a new era is opening for the world in which mankind will seek greater freedom for his thoughts, and in which he will struggle to break the chains of slavery that his spirit has been dragging behind him. It is the time in which you will see people break through the barriers of fanaticism in search of spiritual sustenance and true light. And I tell you that he who for even an instant comes to experience the happiness of feeling free, the happiness of feeling free to meditate, to scrutinize and to practice, will never voluntarily return to his captivity. For his eyes will have beheld the light, and his spirit has been in ecstasy before the divine revelations. Is it a storm? Is it stormy where you are? This storm, it's a storm of my, or is it just stormy? When the storm comes, the wind and the waves, is it all you hear? Is it my? Then you're caught in a storm of my. And if you're caught in a storm of my, in stormy circumstances, then you can't fulfill the law of Christ. And this is why Christ used a stormy situation to call peace upon it, so that the lives of those around you can be saved. They can find peace. Well, if you have a my storm, you can extend your hand of peace outward to your brothers to save them, to succor them, to love them as yourself. He who seeks to save his life shall lose it, but he who gives up his life shall find it. And if you extend your hand to save your brother's life, then you will find your life. But if you're caught in a storm of my, you can't extend your hand. Can you hear me today, little flock? The storm is nothing but my. And if you knew that, then you would understand what the storm was. You'd see it for what it truly is. A storm of fear that I, me, my is under attack. And if I have to save me, my, I, if I have to save that, then I can't be doing what he told me to do. Extending my hand out, loving my neighbor as myself, giving up my life, for love seeketh not his own. So his teachings, Christ's teachings, have been set aside for an illusion of love, while everybody is in a storm of my. And everybody's going to find out what that storm is like when it comes. And it will indeed come to each and every last one of us on the face of this earth. Abba is no respecter of persons, and his judgment is no respecter of persons as well. So when that storm of my comes and you panic because all of my things are going away and my family members have turned against me, and my bank account is empty, and my reputation is destroyed, and my house is gone, and my has been broken to the ground. Then you'll know the storm that I'm talking about. Then you'll know the wind and the waves that I'm describing here. The warning that is going forth out from the Spirit of truth to the world in these last days. That you have perverted the teachings of Christ and changed them into a mockery and a lie. And only seeking for my while saying you love your neighbor as yourself. When you only start loving your neighbor when you feel like your life is secure, when you feel like all things are good for you, when I'm stable, then I'll help, then you are only loving yourself. You are only concerned with my. And so you will forever be caught in a storm. Every day the storm will come to wake you up in the morning, to tell you to move and to work. Your slave master will drive you as long as you are serving my. He will drive you because he will always tell you that you must move and you must work to sustain what's mine. Well, if it's mine, then why am I renting it? Well, I don't. I own it. Well, then what happens when you die? Won't somebody else have it? So then technically you were just had it on loan. You were renting it for a time, weren't you? Yeah. But you all fight for these things that you say are mine. And I'm protecting what's mine. What about your brother? The same ferocity that you put forth to fight for your brother, do you fight for yourself? And what's yours? Will you fight for your brother the same? When the threat comes for him to lose the things that belong to him, will you fight for them the same? Because he said, love your neighbor as yourself. Will you watch your neighbor's house crumble to the ground and watch him lose everything and fall down onto the ground and cast dust upon his head and just look out your window and wag your head and say, wow, sorry for that, brother. I'm glad Abba has blessed me to have my house and my warmth this winter. Thank you, Father, for blessing me. Well, then you don't follow Christ when you think that way. You don't follow Christ when you think that way. It's all about my. And my makes a stormy situation. And if that is not what Christ taught us, then what is it that he taught us, guys? To love one another. But see, Christ knew that from generation to generation, men would mystify his doctrine, adulterating his law, falsifying the truth. And he knew too that men would forget his promise to return, and that they cease to consider themselves as brothers. And how do we know that? Because they kill each other with the cruelest and most cowardly and perverse arms that you could possibly use. That's how we know that men don't consider themselves brothers, because they'll slit each other's throats. They will shoot a rifle from a mile away while this man is tying his shoe and blow his head off like a coward would do. At least in years past, men were brave enough to fight toe-to-toe, sword to sword. But now, look how they kill. With a drone. They fly a drone over a man in a pit, cowering down, praying up to a drone that not even has a man in it, that he won't drop a bomb, and he drops it anyway. Blows his legs and his arms off. That's bravery. Decimate whole peoples, women and children included, elders and everything. Blow them off the face of the map. Oh, because I had to protect my interests. It's always about my. Like I've said, it's so much about my that your ass can't even deny. But the time and day appointed has come, and he is here. Do not judge the form in which he has chosen to communicate with you, for it is not the humanity which is to judge him, but it is he who judges humanity, and that this time is the time of judgment. Christ came to establish a kingdom in the heart of humanity, not a material kingdom as many expect, but a spiritual one whose strength comes from love and justice and not from the powers of this world. Did you know that? Remember when Christ said, "My kingdom is not of this world." Y'all remember that? So if it ain't of this material 3D world, then what world is it? Just told you. The spiritual world. A spiritual kingdom that exists in the hearts of men. Christ sits and rests on the heart of a man. And if he doesn't, then that man is a beast and led about by my, just chomping and chomping and chomping like a Pac-Man. That's all that he is when he doesn't have Christ on his heart, who teaches him how to love his brother with the same zeal, the same way you seek to feed your own bellies today, people. The same way you seek to pay that rent, how you're willing to slave and get up all on time and everything and get dressed and drive all through traffic like a crazy maniac to get there on time. Put that same zeal and effort to loving your brother. You see? And I see that there are those who are surprised to hear me speak this way. I know that. That's why it says, marvel not if they hate you, grandson. I know. I hear you loud and clear. So I know that there's some that think it's strange the way I speak. And I ask you, why must you always imagine Christ robed in silk, gold, precious jewels? Why do y'all think that I want my kingdom to be of this world? Huh? Why do y'all think it's similar to the kingdoms of this world if he said it ain't? Why do y'all think my kingdom comes with jewelry and expensive things when I already revealed to you the opposite? Lowly, humility, riding on a colt, humble. But y'all keep looking for something else in this world, for yourself. You see, you say you follow me, who is humble, who is lowly, dressed in humble attire, not trying to draw any unnecessary attention to himself. That's the one you say you serve. Well, then why are you decked in all kinds of big jewelry, fancy robes? See how this goes, y'all? See how we're proving that you've been lied to? All of these pastors, bishops, and popes wearing these nice robes with gold all embroidered on this shit. Big ass Mitri on his head and cone head looking ass nigga with a big ass tower on his head. Shit draped all across in different fabrics and all of this. Was Yahusha dressed like that? No. So then how the hell the ones that follow him is dressed like that? Because they perverted his ways. That's what we here to correct. I ain't got to lie about what I'm here to do because I'm doing it. Is you doing it? Or is you chasing gold, rubies, diamonds, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Bugattis, Balenciaga, Louis Vuitton, Birkin, purple labels and all of this? Is that what you chasing after? Christ says, I already foretold you that the struggle would be intense. For each believes his own religion to be perfect, and his compliance with it to be perfect. Yet, I tell you that if that were true, I would not have had any reason to come speak to you in this time. See, grandson of right thought ain't got no reason to be talking the way he talked unless something then went wrong. Correct. Somebody been lying on Yahusha. Somebody been lying on what he said. Somebody, and the whole world has been. I just told you how they dress, how they look. Now how the grandson dressed and looked. Where the grandson at when he be giving you these messages? On the street, in an alley right now. I'm in an alley in Detroit, in the hood. That's where I'm at giving you this message. You see? So there's a difference. So in order to prove the difference, I have to show the difference. I have to be a doer and not just a hearer and tell you, yeah, Yahusha was humble. Yeah, he came in on a coat. Well, you didn't come in on a coat. You came in a rose. So that's a little different. Hey, well, you know, we all striving to be a little more like Yahusha every day. Come on, man. You should come in like him if you say you following him. You following a humble guy, but you got all kind of regalia on you. That don't sound right. That don't sound right. You see? Christ says, I am inspiring in you a doctrine that is fundamentally spiritual. For I see that paganism rules in your forms of worship, and that the bad seed of fanaticism has poisoned you with ignorance and hatred. See? That's what's happened to the world, y'all. My sword is light in my hand. I am the warrior and the king who comes to destroy all that is deplorable, all evil that exists, and all that is false. When my struggle is finished and the hearts have learned to unite to live and pray, the gaze of your spirit will discover my presence in the infinite light and eternal peace. This is my reign, I will tell you, and I am your king. That is why I exist and why I created you to rule. That's what Christ says. Tearing down all of the falsehoods, all of the lies. That's the spirit of truth job to do. That's how you know where the spirit of truth resides. Those who do the will of the Father, who don't chase after that love their neighbor as themselves. I can't lay up in a penthouse in silk sheets and my brother is laid on the corner with not enough to eat. It don't go together. It don't go together. So let me get down on a level, face to face with them and do it. Not coming dressed in expensive clothes, not coming with a bunch of money, not coming with a bunch of pomp. Those things Christ ran from. Did he not, y'all? Or did he run to those things? When the people came and they said, hey, man, I know you're the Christ. What did he tell them? Did he say, don't tell nobody that? Or did he say, yeah, I am. Now you better go run and tell everybody so they can come see and hear and get a load of this. Is that what he did? I don't think so. I don't think so. He said, don't tell nobody that. Keep it to yourself. I don't want a bunch of pomp. I don't want a bunch of praise of men. I want the praise of my Father, not the praise of men. That's what he said. So now look at all the preachers, pastors, leaders, teachers that you looking to get some information. Look at their life, y'all. Stop turning a blind eye to it. See it. See how they're coming to you. Stop turning a blind eye to what is obvious there right in front of your face. Stop being a worshiper of men. Worshipping the outside and the exterior. Worshipping the surface of something. As long as you're doing that, you'll never see the heart of the thing. Now, what's more important? The surface of it or the heart? See, if I were fighting a person who was very big, but yet I could see they didn't have any heart, then I wouldn't be concerned with the size of that person. But if I was fighting somebody that was just even my size, but yet I could see they had a bunch of heart, there was a dog, as we say, on the inside, they had a bunch of fight in them, then I might be a little bit more peaceful about how I deal with this brother. See, nothing on the outside told me how to deal with it. It's on the inside. And as long as you guys, for some reason, don't get that, then you're going to keep falling short. That's all I'm trying to tell y'all. All I'm here to do is to show you the truth by living it so that you can see it, so that you can stop having fear, being caught in the storm of my. And I was there. I had to be washed of my iniquity as well. We will all stand before the Father saying we have sinned, and if a man don't, then I don't know what to say about that guy. But I've been there, and I know how it feels when that storm comes. My bills, my car, my house, my family, my wife, my kids. Oh my God. I know how that feels. It's nothing but a storm to get you to not be able to love your neighbor. That's all it is. To get you thinking about you, so much so that you can't think about your neighbor in his circumstance. You're too busy thinking you gonna die. You too busy thinking you ain't gonna make it. Right? That storm on the boat, the storm eye situation, I'm gonna die. You don't care about us, Yahusha. See? Me. You don't care? You don't care? Of course I care. Peace be still. See? See? But I'm showing you by doing it, sleeping. I'm not a phony who just gonna say peace be still, but not show you that I'm at peace by sleeping in the midst of my. I'm not in that world. That's what he's trying to tell you, really, guys. And that's all the grandson is here to remind you of. That's it. Of course, the grandson would only remind you of what the son said. Makes sense. Just like the son would only remind you of what the father does. Just makes sense, guys. You see? Just reminding you so that you don't get caught off guard. You don't get caught unawares. You see? Looking for the wrong things. One in particular, Christ to come in the flesh and through the sky. The whole world waiting for that to happen. That's not going to happen that way. He said his return would be spiritual. The Spirit of truth I'm going to send you. I'm going to go home and I'm going to send you the Spirit of truth. And he will remind you of everything I taught you because there's nothing new to teach. My teaching is perfect. You see, Moses' teaching came until I came. And I gave you the Second Testament. And now there's going to be the Third Testament, which is the Spirit of truth, who confirms what the Second Testament was. That's all I'm here doing today. That's what the grandson does. That's what he said would happen. I'm just telling you what he said, and then I'm fulfilling it by doing it. That's all. So as long as you're looking for some guy to come physically, then you're going to miss it. He did that already, he said. Now I'm going to send you the Spirit. Now y'all need to hear the Spirit. The Spirit is who told me to leave. Why didn't y'all leave? Because y'all don't hear it. You see what I'm saying? You don't hear the call. The Spirit is who told me to come out and go into the 40. To be cleansed of my old my ways. To be cleansed of my iniquities. The Spirit told me to do that. Spirit of truth. The Spirit of truth who's telling me this today. You see? That the world is wrong. I know it looks good, babies. I know it looks good. My brothers and sisters, innocent little lambs, I know it's shiny. I know they look like they happy. When they pop in the court and they driving all fast and laughing and seem not to have a care in the world, and they can lay their children in the nicest beds and feed them the best food, and you're just trying to get by, barely paycheck to paycheck, ain't even sufficient. And I know that looks good, and that looks like that'd be a happy life. But that world is full of it's full of greed. And it's why you're struggling. It's why you're trying to get by paycheck to paycheck. It's because of those people who are hoarding it all for themselves and putting their children in the nicest beds at the expense of your child sleeping in that cot or on the floor on a pallet like most of us Israelites grew up. Sleeping on grandma's floor on a pallet, 6 or 7 deep in a living room. And it's because we're not living with equity with one another. And justice isn't prevailing in your guys' world. So you must suffer pain and suffering and lose all that my, and what you thought was yours. You're going to lose it so that you can see what really is yours. Or as he said, you got to lose your life to find it. And find out that you're a servant to your brother. To raise him up is raising yourself up. Not to put him down. That's not going to raise you up. That's the lie. And it will only last for so long before it falls, children. And so he would have it that none of you would suffer that loss. And this goes beyond race, color, and creed. If we'd all rise up in our minds and come above that to realize that a Chinese man won't help his brother who's in need and demonstrate the love of Christ that day. A Japanese man won't do it for his brother. Yes, we see it all the time. Well, it's time that we stop looking at just what looks like ours, but that we understand that the image of Abba is man, and that we honor it so when we see it, when we walk through these streets every day, and we see another image, that we honor it the way we would want to be. And when we hug the way we want to feel a hug. Everything that we do, be done with that intention, because that is his commandments, y'all. And if we would turn from our fears of what's mine and be set free, like he said, with the truth, that if we loved one another, we'd have it. We'd have it because it's in us, it's in our hearts to take care of one another. Not in no mark that we all got to take in either to buy or sell. And a lot of people, when they hear that, they hear buy. I won't be able to buy anything because all they think about is mine. But what about selling? You won't be able to sell anything as well. That's the system you guys want? I don't think so. But Christ says, my kingdom isn't of that world. So will you enter in today and be set free? By what you know in your heart is true, and your heart is beating for you to walk away from captivity and be set free today. Will you let yourself be free today and come out of that stormy situation, no longer drowning in that world of my, and coming into a new world, into the new truth that we are all one, all of us. Siloam, Mr. Allah.